number, and the matchup is very interesting to start this one off.
Well, yeah, and I guess we'll break that down. TaToH went Cumans in game 1. I'm surprised. Are you surprised to see him open up with Cumans?
Yes, because it was his pick number 6. Like, last pick out of all of them, and he opens with them.
Like, what did he see in the Civ draft? Because if you pick a Civ at the very end, we saw Velez pick Indians, it's normally based on the civilizations the opposition picked throughout the early stages of the draft. So TaToH opens up this best of 5, picking Cumans. I think TaToH was in Vivi's group, right? So maybe he saw something he liked from that. Against Vikings. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think we'd see Cumans. I thought he'd pick it and then never use it.
Yeah, some of my chat also asked, like, what do you think he's going to play Cumans? And I said, like, yeah, it is pick number 6. There's games to be played before that, and then it heavily depends on the matchup. Remember, we already had Cumans against Vikings when we saw TaToH against Leary last weekend. TaToH did play 0 TC strategy there. And, well, Vikings played a lot of archers.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite victories ever. It was right when like people started to spam Cumans a little bit, and it was always the fast 2 TCs, and then the reaction to that was to go for FC into forward siege, and I just went scouts, and they were never expecting it. And obviously, Velez will be fully aware of that, but maybe you don't have to go for the second TC. Maybe they'll expect it, and then you can go for the fast scouts and transition into the TC later on.
Yeah, the days where you just blind counter a strategy of Cumans are long gone. You need to find out what they're doing. As you said, I've even seen man-at-arm openings. I've seen archer openings now. We saw a very interesting game like 2-3 days ago, Viper against Terra, and we actually had Cuman into walls, into double archery and sneaking behind the opponent's base. That's going to be a crazy one. And Velez, he needs to be so active to find out what TaToH's up to.
Yeah, Velez is here nice and early. He actually saw the Rhino. Game 1, you might want to gain a bit of a lead, especially taking that food away from Cumans would be nice, but I think Velez thought twice about that. And it's good he didn't try and steal because TaToH was ready and waiting the right of that. Vikings, a Civ we mentioned earlier in our cast, Nili, a Civ that was so dominant in so many tournaments and dominant in situations where they could wall. King of the Desert, not really a map where you can normally wall up much. How do you think they could fare against Cumans?
Well, they were so imba because of the wheelbarrow bug, right? For some people that still didn't get the memo, Age of Empires at the moment works that wheelbarrow isn't working for farms unless you retask them or ring the town bell. And obviously with Vikings, that is less often the case. So Vikings economy was even better than it should have been on paper.
Exactly. Yeah, and that bug has existed for a long time until somebody realized that.
We're still playing with a patch where it's a thing.
No. It is still a thing. Yeah, it hasn't been fixed here, and if you're playing DE currently, it still should be a thing. And I believe it's with HD and classic AOC as well. So
I think it got introduced with DE.
I don't know. Maybe if like
that's what I read.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's the case then. Maybe it's just a DE bug. But in any event, yeah, Vikings have been stronger than they should be due to that. And Velez looks to me like he's going to go for a barracks soon, see if it's a Drush or if it's man-at-arms. I think the best thing you can do here is probably go for man-at-arms, but then again, you're up against Cumans. And do you want to go feudal play if Cumans are going to go fast feudal into a second TC? It's really hard to judge.
Yeah, it feels like Man-at-Arms is rarely a good strategy against Cumans because if they get their TC up, Man-at-Arms are not doing anything anymore. The walls are stronger as well. My question to you is, if TaToH plays Pop 21 extra TC, where do you want to see that extra TC?
Probably on the woodline and the gold. You're either choosing a woodline and a stone or woodline and a gold. I remember when it was full 2TC Cuman spam, it's gone through stages. So first it was get out kip checks, then it was get out step lancers. So I think nowadays we're seeing a little bit more kip checks, or at least we're seeing 2 TCs into someone's stone, but TaToH stones are pretty exposed. I'm just gonna re-explain what you did with the wheelbarrow bug so people understand. Basically, wheelbarrow only affects your farmers after so like if you have a farmer That is, God, this explanation is just off to a great start here. If you research wheelbarrow, you have to retask your farmers for them to be affected by wheelbarrow. That makes sense? So Vikings, since they get wheelbarrow right away, never ran into that issue. So that means that Vikings have been even stronger than other civs, because if midway through Feudal Age you research wheelbarrow and you're not retasking farmers, those farmers are not affected by wheel until they're retasked. That was a little bit better on the second try.
Oh, sorry, I had you muted on my stream. Could you explain for my chat again as well?
Nice try, Nilly. 2 years ago, I would have been gullible enough to believe that. So.
Okay.
Do you see what TaToH's doing, though? Do you see the sneaky barracks in the back?
That is kind of hidden here. Let's take a look. His resources are pretty massive. Doesn't really look like an extra TC to me. Builds the gate, builds the stable.
Right, so Velez sees the feudal time. Velez is here with a Drush. And Velez is probably thinking, well, hold on a second. Like, normally I think this would surprise Velez. But Velez is going to know that TaToH would likely not build a second TC on the hills in the back. He checked the gold, and he doesn't see the stone, but I don't think that Velez is going to think that TaToH's going for the second TC here.
It's like two indicators. One, like, I don't see the TC. Second, it is pop 21, right?
Yeah.
Pop 21 is not really the TC timing. You could try to go for 19 or 20.
Ooh, wow, look at this. Okay, I think TaToH's going to go scouts into towers. And this should, like, if Velez is really thinking about this, if he sees the villager on stone this early, I think he should expect something with Feudal Age attack from TaToH.
Well, sometimes you send a villager on stone simply because you want to build defensive towers after you build the early TC.
Yeah.
I think he clearly missed the 3 villagers there. Can they build a tower that will reach the gold? Looks good.
I think they'll be able to. Yeah, in my opinion, I think that villager on stone's a little too early for what you mentioned. Did TaToH show Velez that he's making extra scouts, or did he hide that?
Militia diving, oof, but the house.
Yeah. I don't think TaToH showed him yet. Okay, now the scouts are here, so now Velez will know. How do you think Velez will be feeling, seeing that TaToH's not going for the second town center with Cumans?
Well, something else is happening. To answer your question, how will he feel? I think that's not too bad because he already has the walls up, so he's not too scared of the scouts. But what he should be scared of is rams.
TaToH, you need the blacksmith before you can build the siege workshop, but he's going to make use of a Cuman bonus, which is awesome, but you rarely see it because of how expensive it can be. Rams in Feudal Age, the only civ that can do that. And TaToH just picked off Velez's scout in the back. Not too important here. And Velez now going with the counter tower. But will the counter tower stay up if a ram comes out?
Well, we need the ram first, right? 200 wood for a siege workshop, 150 wood for the blacksmith, then 160 wood for the ram. That's quite a big investment. And Velez still sitting behind his walls.
Yeah, I personally feel like this strategy was only a strategy that one player who's a step up from the opposition could perform and try, because it's such a big investment. 150 wood for the blacksmith, which you're not even using. 200 wood for the siege workshop. Then you need the wood and gold for rams. That, combined with the fact you're probably not going to have the second TC then as well, it's a lot. And so TaToH still has not even made a ram, and Velez is defending. But at the same time, has to be said that Velez is not fast castling. Velez is still in feudal.
He did go for both eco upgrades now, is adding archer range, send villagers onto stone. So he's completely changing his plan. Ram number 1 now on the way.
Yeah, ram number 1 on the way and forging on the way for TaToH. People saying feudal boy. That account that TaToH uses to stay in Feudal Age. I think it means I go feudal in Spanish. He's going to do that here. Do you think he ever adds a second TC, or are we a long way from that?
I think first task is to really break the front. He also only has 1 villager on stone, right? So that's going to take quite some time till he gets to the necessary 100 stone again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've got to commit to whatever you're going for. Forward archer range. Wait a second, is there a hole there? No, there's not.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Ram now. Ooh, Ram does quite some damage against Palisade Wall.
We just never see that.
2 hits.
All right, no armor. 2 of these scouts are weak, but with TaToH's micro, he could certainly pick off villagers. And he'll go for one, and he thinks better of it.
Dives in deep. 4 villagers at the woodline in the back. Walls are now coming up, or houses, better said. That function as a wall. 2 villagers either at the blacksmith. And TaToH, well, he is annoying, but can't find kills.
Yeah, can't find kills at all. Will the ram do enough here for TaToH? Oh my goodness, the ram even against the tower. Remember, guys, watchtowers have 700 HP in Feudal, and they get more HP when you make it to the Castle Age. So they'll melt pretty quickly, but Velez with excellent defense.
Another hit was needed there. That was so close to getting another hit off. Bloodlines now coming in. Both players with the eco upgrades. TaToH lost a villager at the tower there.
Did he really? He did, yeah. I think he's going for the little house trick, maybe? You place the houses in front of the tower, and then the enemy tower will sometimes aggro the house foundation instead of tower. It's really annoying to play against. Yeah, Velez doing good so far. But do you remember game 1 of the previous set where we said so-and-so's defended really well? Charts defended really well. This is impressive. And then he ended up losing in the mid-game. So an even game is not what Velez is setting out to do here. He's setting out to win. And I think surprise a lot of people, too. I think Velez actually has the quality to beat TaToH. He's just got to show that in a tournament.
I think the skill gap in this series will be way smaller than in the set before, right? If we think about like Mr. Yo, arguably number 5 or like top 5 in the world, chart maybe like number 20 or something, and here we're probably talking about 2 top 10 players at the moment.
I think the seed in the tournament was 13 versus 5, but I would argue that the seeding was based on rating, I believe, but Velez definitely deserves to be a bit higher than 13.
Yeah, it was I think for the top 16, it was tournament result based.
Tournaments as well, yeah. Yep.
And yeah, Velez, well, underperformed a bit there. Obviously, Red Bull tournaments are counting in quite a bit. Not the craziest performance in Hidden Cup either. So, hurt him a bit, this way of seeding.
Yeah. I think the player... Well, we won't talk too much about that. TaToH's going to have a defensive range and a forward range. And he had to leave his stone. I think he needs skirmishers at home because Velez is knocking on the door. And speaking of knocking, man, TaToH's got a lot of military on the front.
Oh, and it's only 3 spearmen, 4 spearmen. Now tries to micro there. Skirmishers doing an okay-ish job. Not a lot of army left.
I thought that would have been way better for TaToH there. I'm really surprised that he didn't accomplish more. And Velez, I'm also surprised to see him pulling so many villagers when these scouts have forging and bloodlines.
Oh, you know what should have been TaToH's move here? Send the villagers with it in the ram and repair the ram every single time.
Yeah. A tower from Velez. Who will be better off after all of this? TaToH scouts are pretty weak, but he's also destroying all the military Velez has at home. Velez wants to click up to Castle Age, but Velez might not have the military. He's zoning out TaToH quite well, and TaToH's pretty much all in Feudal.
40 food in the bank at the moment. 26 villagers onward. Looks pretty horrible. Maybe rushing out a market is the play here to balance his eco somehow.
That's already there. So he has a market foundation down, and he has 500 wood. That is not good at all. As TaToH's probably realizing now, if I don't do something soon, this guy's going to be in Castle Age. I don't know what the choice is for Velez yet in Castle Age, but could be anything. It could be crossbow, and it could be knights. I think he'd excel with either choice.
Remember, the winner of this series is going to face off against TaToH tomorrow, best of 5. I think the first set of the day.
It is the first set of the day, yep.
Oh, lovely. And obviously a lot of people already whining, oh, team kill, TaToH against TaToH, but, well, Velez wants to see something different.
Exactly, yeah. What I love about high-level tournaments nowadays is we have so many players who might not have the reputation because they're not content creators or maybe just haven't been at their level for as long, and they might not have the fan base to back it up, but they're gaining a lot of respect in this tournament. And we saw the same with qualifiers for different events previous to King of the Desert. I think it's really important for a healthy esports scene to have that. And Velez is just looking so clean right now. He's even doing his best to make it away with these archers. As TaToH's making another forward stable, and TaToH's got to hop back inside that tower.
Oh, villager, can she survive? Another shot and jumps over there.
Right, now Velez, again, I'm surprised he has these archers around when there's skirmishers with full attack upgrades, full defense upgrades. These archers are still alive, and Velez is soon going to be on knights. That should clear up all of TaToH's forward, and that could just kill the Spaniard.
The spearmen are doing a surprisingly good job. Went for the defense upgrade for those as well, and they're actually mopping the skirmishes quite nicely.
Militia as well. I did notice he went for that upgrade. I didn't bring it up. Now also that tower is going to have more HP for Velez, which is nicely timed. And TaToH, he's gone for a strategy here that needs so much investment. There's been so little payoff. I think it's all falling apart for him now. He can't go Feudal Void against Velez.
I'm curious if the Doubt vs. Leary game was in TaToH's head, and he thought, okay, I can't play it like Doubt. That was too much aggression, and Doubt suffered too much, and therefore tried to go a bit more creative, or if that plan, yeah, was just his convincing idea beforehand.
This game here, as Velez has crossbow and he has knights, and TaToH's still in feudal age. This game, and TaToH's now building the TC, which is going to take forever to complete. It reminds me of TaToH of old. There was a time where TaToH was a very skilled player, but he was too creative. He would try and think too far out of the box. And so he then became a player who would play meta for the most part, but make some fine tweaks to it and add creativity to something that already was very strong. And I don't think that this game here worked out at all for TaToH. It was too creative, and Velez is too good a player to ever get a win. Sorry, for TaToH to ever get a win. And game 1 goes to Velez.
TaToH's map wasn't good enough to hide his strategy, I think. I think if you go for the strategy, you have to put the thought of the extra TC in the head of your opponent. And Velez with the scouting knew there was no chance for the extra TC and therefore could make the adjustments.
Yeah. Also, Velez did a fantastic job against very strong military numbers. It was 7 or 8 scouts, and TaToH actually got in, did not kill many villagers, and TaToH had forging, did not kill many villagers. He ended up getting bloodlines and scale barding, did not find many vill kills. So I think it's a combination of maybe not the map for TaToH, but also excellent defense from Velez. And the reason Cumans are so questionable for me right now is you either are going for the 2 TC boom, which is very predictable, or you're not, and there's not too much exciting about them. And I think we saw that right there.
Yeah. TaToH normally a master of mind games. This time, Velez did exactly what we predicted at the early stage, did get the scouting in, and could adjust the strategy.
All right. So, game 1 goes to the underdog. Not the biggest underdog ever, but goes to the underdog. The next game will start shortly. What do you think about the civilizations remaining? Because remember, TaToH picked his last civ pick for game 1.
Mm-hmm. So this kind of Mongols and Cumans is the same picking around there for him. And, well, Velez taking Vikings. So it's not the biggest loss for TaToH. He still has incredible civilizations left.
Sure.
Velez, though, Aztec, Franks, maybe some prepared strategy there with Celt. Not the dream scenario, but still a very open series.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find out. You know what's so funny?
Tell me.
What would people be saying, the viewers right now, what would they be saying if TaToH was Viper trying that strategy in game 1?
Who? TaToH against Viper? Oh, if Viper did it against Velez.
If Viper was in TaToH's position there, picked that civ, and tried that strategy, what would people be saying?
I would turn off my chat.
You'd be like, oh, you can't read it. Yeah, it's too much.
That's
now people would be like, oh, he's trolling. He's just trying to give us more games, blah, blah, blah. You know, with TaToH, we are seeing a little bit of that, but not as much. I think people recognize that Velez is a real threat.
Yeah, that was 0% trolling by TaToH. TaToH tried to play to his 100% best ability and tried to win that game. I think he couldn't come up with a better play.
Exactly. Yeah, he did that strategy as good as he maybe could have done. Aztecs versus Mongols. There are 4 civilizations that have laming bonuses or early scouting bonuses on very aggressive maps, and these are 2 out of the 4. We'll see what happens. Players are pretty far apart. Velez again in the blue after getting that game 1 victory. I'm sure he's feeling great. And TaToH in the north. Beautiful back gold. I love it. Both maps seem pretty reasonable. How do you think Mongols fare against Aztecs?
I kind of say Aztecs is a counter to Mongols. I think prior to the extra expansion after AOC, Mongols were okayish, I would say. Mangudai were a bit stronger, but with Atlatoscum, they're getting so much more done. I think Aztecs, especially with the strong eagle play in Castle Age, should have the upper hand here.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with Mongols, it always stems back to what type of damage can they do with their Dark Age bonus, which is the hunt, and also some lames. And Velez, thinking of that, is changing up the build order and is going to take a Rhino before he even goes to it. It is such a good decision. And TaToH, if he wants to find the other Rhino, he's going to have to go to the back of Velez's base.
Ooh, and now look at that. Even adjusted his build to send 7 on food early on, so he can still shoot the Rhino with 6 and go for the Chinese lure. So delayed the lumber camp a bit.
So I was very critical of that because we had, I think, 3 players 2 weekends ago, and TaToH included, shoot their boar or their Rhino with their TC and then lose the game because of it. But Velez, what you do is you garrison 6 villagers, you shoot the boar twice with your TC, and then your villagers can one-shot it to its death. It was impressive. And TaToH not going to get the other Rhino either. Velez even taking this one early.
Yeah, gets all his sheep as well. Has to be pretty happy with the opening. The other option is to shoot 3 times with 4 villagers as well. And Velez now did a mix of 5 villagers shooting twice and then have to shoot a bit more. But all solid there. And TaToH, well, has to go back without achieving too much, except still solid scouting.
Yeah, that's well done. So this is something that you should maybe think about. Like, build orders, they're pretty strict nowadays. But if you're expecting to get lamed, should more players adjust their builds to bring in their hunt a bit earlier?
Absolutely. And I think that should be so standard, and you do it, and even people did it on ladder games, right, against MBL. You always keep your sheep closer, you sheep scout way less, try to keep them next to your TC, get your boars earlier. You have to make those adjustments to the players.
Yeah, so that's impressive from Velez. It's just such a simple thing. I feel like pros can be so stubborn at times, and that includes, like, all players can be very stubborn to try and stick to a certain build. And TaToH not getting what he would have wanted there. He will probably just stay at home now and try and push in some of his additional hunt with zebras and the ostrich. Velez is around. Velez sees what TaToH's up to. We'll probably see a barracks soon for Velez. Actually, not soon, because he's a little bit a ways from that. But he is going to camp the hunt, so TaToH can't push that.
Yeah. Remember, Velez delayed his lumber camp a bit more to have 1 more villager on the boar early on. So barracks will be delayed. Most likely men-at-arms, and we won't see Drush from him.
All right. Well, so far, talking about what Mongols want to do with the laming and then with the hunt, I mean, this is not going according to plan for TaToH. That's for damn sure. But on the bright side, he can still have a crazy uptime. He's about to click up 19 population. Getting loom, we do see players skip that with Mongols sometimes, but when that eagle's around, I think it's a bit too risky. TaToH's not really one to take risks.
And, well, he had to scout at home as well, so he didn't really know, is my opponent going to Drush or not? Scout obviously can be misleading because your score is just always really high with Mongols. And now he's sending his scout to the other side, try to get the intel, does not see the barracks. Where should Velez go on to gold? Do you think it's the spot to go for the main gold?
No, I think you've got to give up that main gold. That is brutal main gold, but at least you've got 2 golds in the back. And I also think he's got to get some walls down before TaToH's starting scout is a Feudal Age scout, because that will mean extra speed and attack. Single walling villagers could get picked off, and maybe it's too late for that. I don't know. There's a lot of walling to be done.
Also 2 villagers on gold here. Sometimes with the Aztecs, you see people sending only 1. Villagers bugging out.
Where?
Okay, not anymore.
Oh, did he send them to the hunt and then they just got stuck together? That's so frustrating. I hate that. Ooh, okay. So Velez goes forward with the eagle to see what TaToH's up to, so there's no surprises. Liking the scouting from both players. Well, TaToH also spotted the barracks from Velez.
He's only doing that because he sees the scout at his own base, right? That allows him to scout the other base then.
Yeah, because otherwise that eagle would get picked off. Good call.
3 on gold now. Is that an archer build? No.
No, I think since he has to quick wall his villas in, he's probably sending 1 or 2 extra. Because he knows that villagers will be exposed over there if he's sending 1 or 2. Or it's going to be more difficult to get villagers on gold. At least that's what I think the logic is.
Oh, it's a full eagle build. I'm a bit surprised here by Velez. He placed only 1 lumber camp. That's unlikely to be in archer range. Might be men-at-arms into mesh eagles.
I mean, eagles could be pretty sick. Eagle pikeman is what you'd probably want to go for nowadays with Aztecs. Especially against Mongols. Though Aztecs can do it all. And TaToH opened with a range.
Wow. 4 on gold there, so shouldn't be the biggest problem. Rush is out fletching now. And, well, we see Villese. He did scout the archer range. So gets the confirmation, just goes for the lame of the hunt.
It's like, okay, TaToH might want these later. Let's make sure we take them down. That's a smart move. TaToH's not walled on the right side, so it's not too out of the question to still go for man-at-arms and try and do something. But this level, the walls are normally up. And the walls are up for TaToH. But what do you think about the range opening with Mongols? We saw it from Yo earlier, but it was a very different Civ matchup and situation.
Yeah, Leary did it as well. It is a bit of a mind game and also makes sense, right? Opponents nowadays are so good at quick walling, being safe with your villagers. I even caught myself in another coaching session I did saying you shouldn't lose a villager to melee units in 2020 anymore, at least in Feudal Age, right? People are so good at walling, and therefore scouts, not as efficient as archers, maybe.
All right, interesting. I'll make sure I keep that in mind next time I cast one of your games. So they you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
Shouldn't.
That's actually the guy that I coached next day arrived at my chat and quoted the same thing after I lost a villain Dark Age.
It's all right. I think as a caster that comes back and haunts us both at times.
Oh.
Yeah, the archer's there with fletching and TaToH nicely quick walls.
Does he?
Oh, no, he doesn't. But it's not man-at-arms. Still could lose the villager.
Is microing back now and, yeah, gets out alive there. Still not pretty.
All right, and you know what else isn't pretty? A tower spot from Velez. I know he feels like he needs to protect the gold, but that is not a tower you would want to have this early. Maybe even unnecessary. He was probably worried TaToH would break in. He has his own archers there. He just didn't have fletching.
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised as well. Like, the Palisade still had 188 HP. He didn't even try to stonewall behind this one. That was very preemptive. I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah, Velez, I think on the back foot a little bit. He also has Howls pretty badly right now. He's building a house on the right side. What would you say is in the back of your mind as far as style going forward if you're Aztecs and you're building a tower this early?
1 TC play. You are not allowing yourself to go for the extra TCs, and I don't mind that too much against Mongols, right? A massive castle age push. What does Mongols really have? Knights?
Exactly.
Step lancers? Makes it tricky.
And I think if you've got 2 golds in the back, I mean, granted, your main one's forward, but whatever. You've got so much gold in the back. I mean, why not? And here comes Velez. Now, according to casting overlay I'm looking at, Velez has more on food. He also has housed again, so my goodness. That's pretty bad. I like to see him delete one of the militia in the back. You get housed. Just delete one.
Actually, not the worst idea. Also keeps your opponent paranoid, right? Where did those militia go?
Yeah. Like, you delete them, then you're no longer pop capped. I'm really surprised. TaToH just died to a lion! I don't know. I can do woo woo woo, but that's about it. So
apparently he's not part of the alliance.
Oh God. Just get out, Nilly. Just get out. It was horrible. You're certainly right about the paranoia, though. The militia are still back there, and TaToH's still chasing them down.
As he should. Walls up the top there. What is this villager doing? Oh, he misclicked her. What is that? What was he? Like, why is she at the right-hand side?
It's a misclick, like you said. It was a misclick from TaToH, and he tosses away a villager. I mean, good thing it wasn't a melee unit, because otherwise you'd have something to say about that. But that should have never happened from TaToH.
She would have died to militia as well.
I guess on the bright side, Velez was so badly housed that he's behind by a Vill, even though he hasn't lost one. So getting housed does cost you.
Oh man, that was a weird misclick. Did he build the market before and then try to click the palisade? Tricky.
What was weird was the army was next to the palisade walls and he could clearly see it, and then the villager hopped out. But it didn't look like it was a command queue mistake. I think he might have just misclicked it.
Yeah, felt like it. Okay, now the dance in the center, mainly archers against archers skirm mix. Most of the time better for the mixed army there. Scout shouldn't really add too much. Defense upgrade now for Villese coming in.
Yeah, and good micro as well. TaToH, I think TaToH is certainly behind at the moment. We'll see what his micro is going to do for him, but those 2 archers, and now it's archer skirm against him, so there's no way he can think about being out here. TaToH will maybe look towards Castle Age. He has a second range. Will he maybe take a page out of round 1 or round 2 Viper's book and add some cav archers later? Or is it going to be knights and crossbows?
Most likely it's going to be full crossbows while he queues up 3 units at one archer range and none at the other one. That's a bit surprising to me. And yeah, I think it will just be full crossbow v crossbow. You're not too unhappy to face that against Aztecs, but tech switch is now coming in. Second barracks added.
Did TaToH see the tower? TaToH did not see the tower from Velez.
Oh.
I feel like if he saw the tower, he would expect a bit more aggression. He might be thinking that Velez will go 2 range, fast ballistics, and boom. But Velez is making the switch, which is pretty common, and he'll go into eagles. But his eagle numbers are not high, and also TaToH is going to be, well, I don't know if he's going to be in a better spot, but I feel like if he's committing more towards just range units, he should be in a better spot with the early engagements in Castle Age.
Aztecs in the long run struggling to get the last defense upgrade for their archers, but we surely will have some tech switches away from that. Triple barracks play now, but eagle numbers at 0 for now.
I like the house wall from TaToH on the right, as we see the house wall from Velez on the left. Just being extra precautious in case they get surprised. Both players protecting themselves at home, but TaToH moving forward now. Do you think TaToH, does he realize that he's going to have to be the aggressor early Castle Age because of how this Civ matchup tends to go as the game goes on?
Does he really, though? He can add TCs. Velez can't.
Maybe. Well, he doesn't know about the tower, but you're definitely right on that. Talking more so about, like, what do Mongols go for if Elite Eagle comes out in early Castle Age? Like, at that point, even Mangadai can struggle.
You have
got to
be
have
walled,
a bit of a lead.
sit behind castles, and, well, maybe think about champions then.
Yeah.
Early university
Max
for
went
TaToH.
champions against TaToH, actually. A similar Civ matchup. Wow, this is interesting. So both players just passing each other, or not really, they're on opposite sides, and TaToH loses 1, he loses 2, he loses 3 villagers to that raid, and now what will he do at Velez's base?
Well, he will easily break in. Gold still relatively unprotected. 11 villagers there. Woodland not really protected either. Eagle numbers at 8. I think maybe you could even deal with that. Velez is sending everything back.
Velez sending everything back. And a lot of those eagles in the middle of the map nearly. Eagle Warrior now on the way. Does not have the second armor upgrade. Also missing squires. So yes, while the eagles are strong, you need to wait a lot longer with them. At least the tower's there, so that will protect the gold, but it's also on the opposite side of the gold you'd want to protect from these crossbows.
TaToH loses his reinforcements in the center. They wanted to move out. Oh, no.
I mean, we were both expecting Velez to come back with the crossbows, and Velez thought twice about it. TaToH did snipe 2 villagers. TaToH wants to. He could pick off farmers as well. Velez is going to have to abandon quite a few resources right now.
Oh, finds another
4
one.
villagers lost in total now.
Okay, ballistics really helping out. Can he fight against the crossbows? You mentioned earlier, second defense upgrade, only at 70%. Velez still dancing a bit, but some losses.
Yeah, great pickoffs for TaToH, I'd say. Ballistics, a good move. Chainmail armor now in, so we have 8 eagles against 12 crossbows. It's all down to how TaToH can micro this. With the hill, it might not be too bad from TaToH.
Let's take a look if he can find a good angle there. Make it 6 eagles now. Make it 5 eagles now. TaToH did a good job before the engagement really started.
Yeah, that was so good, and more eagles will probably arrive, but half of these guys aren't even engaging before they die. TaToH, he is also thwarting the attack at home because he's got siege, which I'll show people in a second, and oh, this is perfect for TaToH. That's exactly what he needed.
He killed 8 eagles, lost 3 crossbows there. That was lovely.
Sick. Yeah, it was disgusting. It also could get behind the woodline. Oh, with 1 crossbow. I love it.
I
love
hate
it when
it.
players do this.
I hate to play it against it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's awful when it happens to you. I agree on that. But now TaToH, you've got to be careful. He's losing 2, 3. Well, that's a great way to throw away your advantage right there. And now these crossbows are surely going to go down.
Yeah, tougher to micro with those numbers, and that will be cleared up. Meanwhile, Mangonels didn't find the return kills, and we are in somewhat of an even game. Pop 61 to 61.
Exactly. Now it's about army comps now. And TaToH, while he does have a lot of... no, I use a lot more crossbows now. Sorry. He has a lot more crossbows than I was expecting in his ranges. It might surprise Velez. Velez wants to build a forward siege workshop. See if he can even make it there.
What? Goes for the right-hand side there. Not the craziest till. Velez moves out quite far here, knowing that he might face Mangonels.
Yeah, I love how safe TaToH is. Probably the most vulnerable area of his base is the very left-hand side where there's a palisade wall. But that's not an area Velez will break through, most likely.
It's going to be full eagles, while Velez now reclaiming the main gold in front of his base. I think TaToH can't leave his base too far.
No, he can't. Like 3 TCs, but you just have to hope that you can get a castle up and survive till then, because crossbows and eagles and mangonels is way better than just crossbow mangonel, depending on micro, of course. TaToH's got a few more ranged units out there.
The first player to get wheelbarrow is Velez, which accounts slight advantage for TaToH. What is the transition though? You can't. Can you stay on mass crossbow mangonel?
So he definitely isn't in a position to do it right now economically, but I've always been of the opinion that players should consider playing a stronger late game Castle Age with Mongols instead of going up to Imp in a vulnerable state. Like, if his eco gets to the point where he can add knights, I'd prefer him go like not all in Castle Age, but extended Castle Age. That way he weathers the eventual storm that'll come in and gives him an easier time if he has some control before the Aztec player goes for eagles. But, you know, this is definitely army composition that TaToH's got to be careful up against. And TaToH runs forward, maybe not expecting the siege. And he's going to land a nice attack round, actually.
Can snap some eagles, does some shots against the crossbows, but loses his mangonels. Meanwhile, right-hand side, one mangonel is losing his life to the TC. Eagle numbers nicely decimated.
Yeah, not bad for TaToH, but he still does need to be worried about this. I think this is a situation where TaToH's got to rely on his attack rounds ability. Like, the attack rounds definitely helped, and he's going to need more of that. If the eagles are not in high enough number, if it's just 5 to 10, even if it's just 10 to 15 with 2 mangonels on a hill, you can land a big shot. You can change the fight. TaToH definitely wants a castle. I think it depends, but where do you think TaToH should place that castle?
It depends on how the next minute is going, because he's losing a crucial hit in the center. I didn't think he would give that one up.
Right, so now he kind of has his own hill, but it's not as important, and TaToH micros, but not well enough. Okay, it ends up being 1-for-1 in the end.
Not what TaToH needed, though. Has one mangonel in his siege workshop. How is he trying to engage this one?
I think Velez should have dove in with those eagles. Like, you don't want to lose the control, but if you dive in, and this might be the second time today I say dive in when it's clearly not the play.
Oh, massive
big shot. But back there is all of TaToH's eco. There's so much exposed if Velez just runs underneath the TC. And there he goes. And TaToH's just hoping that he wouldn't do that. He gave up the hill you talked about, Nilly. Now TaToH's in big trouble.
Sending his crossbow back while he's trying to make something happen with his own mangonel. Probably doesn't want to delete. No, he tries to go for the better trade than 1-for-1. Doesn't get the villager kill. Eagle's doing so much damage.
Yeah, Eagle's doing damage. There's idle time. Now, I think it's crucial for TaToH to get that castle up in a good spot, but he's now in a position where the castle's probably going to be in a spot as Velez micros well to just save him. We'll see. I'd like to see Velez follow this up, maybe with just more Mangonels for now.
Such
And
a
TaToH build the
defensive
castle
castle.
behind his TC. Oh, it's so bad.
I don't understand how he moved away from his hill in the center there. Felt like such a big mistake. And, well, Velez now in full control here.
We asked our viewers prior to this series, who do you think's going to win? I said 3-2 TaToH. You said 3-1 TaToH. Most viewers out there said 3-0, 3-1 TaToH. TaToH could lose the second game in this best of 5. And Velez is on the way to Imp right now. TaToH with no answer to Eagles.
Oh god, now the aggressive castle in the center there. Traps will be so bad for TaToH here. Just everything so reachable. Mangonel might die again. He had no repair on that Mangonel.
That was so good from Velez. He knows the Siege Workshop's there, so he snipes the Mangonels. And he also realizes
what is TaToH doing?
He can get a big shot here! Yeah, he's throwing his army away, is what he's doing. He's tossing army away. The castle is good micro. The castle's going to go up.
That was actually the perfect fight for TaToH.
I had to pause because I'm like, wait a second. He killed 2 Mangonels. He lost like 4 crossbows. Not as bad as it could be. But Nilly, the forward castle from Velez is for a Treb push on that castle and on that TC from TaToH. So TaToH might not have the castle numbers he'll want if he wants to go Mangadai. And can he go anything else? Does he have the food eco to maybe go champions? I don't think so. Not at the moment.
23 farmers, not the amount that we want to see, indeed. The cross was now trying to make a counter attack happen, but that Velez can just pick a fight now and can decide when he wants to clean it up.
Yeah, and I think he is a little bit unsure where those crossbows are. He'll have to leave the stone, but he'll probably bring eagles and or a Mangonel back home. 37 on food for Velez. And there's a hole there.
Wow.
I didn't see that one. Weird.
Neither did Velez, neither did I.
Velez better wall behind here. Okay, stone wall, that's fine. It's even worth losing.
Tristan, we're actually going imp with the front TC here. Half the HP,
no
40%.
Way. Are you TaToH?
No, I'm not TaToH. I'm Nilly. Hi, Tristan.
Okay, so there's still a hole back here, and I'm really worried about it for Velez because he's got so much eco, and he didn't send eagles. He's just sending the Mangonel, and TaToH's like, really? How are there so many holes in these walls? Yeah, I guess the TC is good. All right, and now these will...
Mangonel shot, crossbows, moving away. Oy, oy, oy.
If TaToH survives this, it's all because of his crossbow micro. He's had a few instances in this game with exceptional micro in dicey spots.
He does a lot of damage now, though. Hallelujah.
Do you think Velez spotted the fact that TaToH was repairing the TC and goes for the TC, or do you think he goes for the castle?
Well, he already has given us the answer, but it felt like a weird spot that TaToH was so heavily repairing that TC.
Yeah, definitely. Velez was in a strong position, still is in a strong position, but he gave TaToH an opportunity. TaToH delayed him pretty badly there, but still in the end, eco's pretty close. Military count now much higher for Velez, and he has Elite Eagle with armor. No relics yet for Velez. It's something he's got to be thinking about. TaToH definitely did not want his castles behind his TCs.
TaToH can afford Elite Mangodai. That's a bit surprising to me. And
that's nuts.
That's a fact that gives me hope for him. Elite Mangodai are a crazy unit. I still think Elite Eagle Warriors should be doing well against them. But TaToH can make something happen from here. Maybe a trap snipe?
See, here he comes. Mangodai not elite just yet. Now they are. He wants to snipe the trebs, as you said, Nilly. There's castle fire. There's some crossbows. There's some skirms. TaToH trying his best. Still repairing, which is less than ideal. But he is also on the stone on the left. Now, there's a very weak eagle over there. TaToH will have to pay attention to that. I think Velez knows about that stone. And TaToH gets one trap.
And that was the crucial one. That was the one actually still shooting. So he saves that castle.
TaToH with 200 stone remaining. Velez is definitely thinking about going Elite Skirm. Elite Skirm with Atlatl, with the Eagles is what you want as Aztecs. But he's losing a lot of Eagles. in the meantime. Also, no relics for Velez. TaToH doing a very good job here, and he still has plenty of gold and plenty of wood to make Mangudai out of 2 castles.
It feels like the KD in the last minute had to be crazy. I think TaToH lost like 2 Mangudais and killed like 15, 20 units there.
Look at Velez. Look at these 13 villagers. What are they doing next to the houses? He's trying to send them to get... I think he realizes he's not going to push TaToH's castles now, and he's trying to think of a backup plan, but I don't know about chopping wood in the center there. Is he just now research his elite skirm and Adlato?
Okay, that is his tech switch. TaToH, only 23 farmers, so the counter to the skirmishes would be hussars, not really on the menu thus far.
Yeah. Someone saying the only civ that could come back from this situation is Mongols. Not so sure about that, but Mongols certainly one of the best. If you just hold on. I really don't like how Velez is choosing to chop the wood there. He's got plenty of wood in the back still. Why he wants to toss away villagers like this, I'll never understand.
What are other good wood lines for him? Yeah, I'm a bit surprised
on the
as
left,
well.
in the back, you know.
No. Sure, he had options.
But now TaToH, the issue he's going to run into is that he can have his strong military in one spot. He's trying to mass up a second group at home, I'm sure. But this is the only thing that Velez has to worry about, this group of Mangudai. I mean, the Eagles, which are supposed to be anti-archer, dying so quickly to them.
Yeah.
But still Velez will have skirms.
Oh, another hole, Tristan. That was the one that didn't he open that like 25 minutes ago?
Yeah. He could have stonewalled the right side. Like, the right side was a problem, the left side was a problem. Velez is in a commanding position in this game, and he's giving TaToH a chance to come back here.
And if you feel like Mangudai are a crazy unit, those were pre-thumpering.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, so they'll be even stronger. I want to point out that Velez has done a great job hitting the stone on the left. This is the 3rd time I've showed eagles here. So TaToH cannot get more castles out easily, and there are a lot of eagles back here for Velez. He's on 1 relic already. Yeah, that's a lot of gold down the drain.
TaToH is getting to reasonable villager numbers, losing some villagers left and right still, though.
Look at his left wood line, Nilly.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, like, he's going to need to put wood into farms so he can get hussars, and there are the stables in the back. TaToH still has not been able to get Velez off of his face.
Eagles not diving in there for the wood line. Tries to go for the stone again. Mangudai coming back. Is he preparing for one final freedom push? But he doesn't have the siege to follow it up.
Freedom! Yeah, I mean, maybe. But I think you're going to need some light cap if you want that to work here. Oh, he doesn't even get the trebuchet. The lateral skirmishers are definitely paying off now for Velez. Yeah, TaToH's looking to regroup everything, and he's lost the 1 castle. I think TaToH might be going down 2 games here, nearly. He does not have enough. It's 52 military for Velez. It's 20 for TaToH. He can't take a stone. He can't breathe. He's taking risky gold on the right. That won't last.
Oh, not scouted for now. Mangudai now in 2 groups. Left-hand side goes for 1 trap. Right-hand side tries to go for another trap, but thinks better of it.
GG. Velez goes up 2 games on TaToH, and if Velez gets 1 more win in this best of 5, TaToH will be out of King of the Desert, and Velez will be moving on to the quarterfinals tomorrow. You know, we talked about the Dark Age. Give Velez credit. He knew that Mongols thrive on laming. He took both elephants in much earlier than he normally would. TaToH found where the elephants were, or I think there were rhinos actually, but he found where they were, but they've already been eaten. There are not a lot of players adapting their Dark Age like that against Mongols. We saw Yo earlier today find great reward laming with Mongols, and Velez avoided that. And then in the mid game, it was very even, but I think Aztecs translate so much better going towards Imp.
Nothing more to say. You summarized it perfectly, Tristan, there. Aztecs, we felt maybe a big castle age play might have been something there, but TaToH was so far in the back to ever make that happen.
Yeah. Do you think that this game goes a bit differently if TaToH never gives up that hill you talked about?
I think then he can defend way more. Yeah, then he can get the defensive castle up there, has so much more breathing room, can maybe build his second castle on the right-hand side, protecting his gold, and can play a bit of a longer game. But still, Velez had the earlier in timing. It can still be annoying with traps no matter where you place your castle.
Yeah, I think Velez would adapt and build the castle elsewhere. You know, TaToH has picked 2 civilizations that are not necessarily one-trick ponies, but they're iffy civs. Cumans, it depends on if you can get the second TC up. It depends on if the crazy strat TaToH went for works. And then Mongols, it depends on if you can lame. I think TaToH's got to pick some all-around solid civilizations if he wants to come back in this series. And he has them, too. That's why I'm so surprised. It's open up with Cumans and lose, and then pick Mongols, which was your second to last pick. Like, is TaToH trying to give us entertainment? Like, is he saving Chinese, Khmer, and Malians because he's not even in final form yet? Like, so weird.
Yeah, you said it, the draft indeed. Like, first 2 picks against last 2 picks. TaToH needs to convert now. And it's not like Velez can't pull a win out with slash Celts or Franks.
All right, cool. Well, Nilly, I'll let you talk about the upcoming game. I have been trying to hydrate more and make better life decisions, and so you know what that means. I'll be back in like 60 seconds.
Okay. Then I will use those 60 seconds and do a small advertisement that I was allowed to do. I asked Tristan beforehand. After all 4 series today, I will have a quiz show on my channel, The Viper against TaToH, and we will have some guessing games. It's basically I ask them questions such as, what is the win rate of this player? How many tournaments over $10,000 prize pool did we have? How many civilizations do have the full blacksmith upgrade? And they try to outbid themselves with their predictions. That will happen tonight at roughly 21 GMT on my channel. If you want to stop by after KOTD so you won't miss any of the action while we wait for game number 3, Velez and TaToH to happen. Chinese Celts will be the next matchup. It's still a spec delay, so you're not missing anything on either channel. I hope he didn't mute me. And I hope you enjoyed the sandwiches as well. TaToH down 2-0. Needs to make something happen. It will be Chinese against Celts. So his pick number 1 against Velez pick number 4.5. So
4.5.
Well, I think people are confusing picks a bit too much. Like, oh, this is pick number 6, this is pick number 5. It actually is the same drafting round, right? So
if they
Mongols
pick it at the same time,
and Cumans are both pick number 5.5, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a very nilly way of explaining it.
Yeah.
I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that it's pick 5 or pick 6 or pick 6 or pick 7, but I know how much
but people confuse, like they think, oh,
stuff.
Chinese is the first pick, Khmer is the second pick. No, they're both the first pick. That's why I call Chinese and Khmer both pick 1.5.
So what we can agree on is that TaToH went for his last pick in game 1 and 2. Like, he went for his quote unquote worst civilizations from his draft, and now not just because of the civs, but because of how good Velez is playing against him, he finds himself down 2 games. We have Velez playing as the Celts in the blue, and TaToH playing as the Chinese. Chinese, just a disgusting overall good civilization. You start with more villagers. Nowadays, with command queue, you're very rarely having idle TC time with your vills, or with your TC rather, so you can create new villagers. Your techs are cheaper, your options are great. But Nilly, what can Celts do against that?
Well, it feels like Velez is trying to make the game scrappy and already trying to lame here. Very active with his scout, is sheep scouting with 3 sheep at home. And, well, most of the time Celts try to make something happen with their men-at-arms. You can really dictate fights quite nicely in Dark Age and Feudal Age.
Sure. I mean, if this was a more closed map, you'd be talking about what Huang likes to do. The Militia, the Fast Castle, the Siege, the Knights. It's definitely not as feasible here because there's a lot of areas that TaToH could hit Velez at. Velez tried to wall, but Velez runs forward. He tries to steal. He steals 2 goats, and he gets home. He is going to get more as Celts than TaToH got from him as Mongols. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But TaToH was kind of unfortunate there as well. Velez also adjusted way better. And Celt, if you think about them, they're not really the civilization where you feel like, okay, he's instantly sending a scout forward.
Yeah, that's true. Celts normally, if anything, they're being a bit more greedy economically at home. But on the bright side for TaToH, he was going to push in this hunt anyways. He's very unfortunate not to see these other goats. So hopefully he finds those right by his gold. But
yeah,
what do you think TaToH can pull off with this map here? You think he's able to pull off a scout build? Would you even want to do that against Celts? Or what's going through your mind?
Big scouting again, right? Man-at-Arm is an option. It's the most likely option. If you go scouts, you're always on the back foot. TaToH is the guy who loves to go for just the early archer range, early fletching. Okay. But then Celts can just transition and can get a lot of control over you.
All right, fair. Well, villagers are already loomed. TaToH is going to wall up. It's what you see pretty commonly with Chinese. Could easily wall to the edge of the map in the back as well. Having your berries on the back when you're up against one of the best Drush and Man-at-Arm civ is amazing. It's exactly what you would want. Berries, pretty easy spot to hit. Woodlines can be walled in a bit easier than that. TaToH could actually full wall his base. The gold's still questionable against any range, but like, now that he's starting to wall, this is pretty solid for him.
I like his map design and his base layout for the next 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. But his woodlines will be really poor after that.
All right. Velez making a barracks. Villager on gold. Also has come home to push in every single ostrich and zebra. This is kind of a standard Drush timing. It's not standard for Celts. At least nowadays, a lot of people are building the barracks before the mill. Yeah, here come the militia. Interesting. Will Velez try and go fast castle? Will Velez go Drush into fast feudal? Do you think that since all that food's been pushed in, that maybe he wants a little bit of map control with the militia and then fast feudal?
It's going to be 4 militia built, by the way, right? Why is he collecting more gold?
I wasn't sure if that was intentional, but it might be.
Let's just assume it was.
Is TaToH going up the feudal himself? He has no farm, so I imagine he's probably going to try that. Yeah, probably click up, and there he goes.
Has to be at the archer place. Scout, is he trying to dive? No, thinks better of it. Still full HP. Goes for the second woodline there at the top. TaToH will be safe. Militia shouldn't really achieve too much. The question is, the archers, will they achieve anything?
Yeah, TaToH going to gold. Just want to make sure he's actually going archers first. Velez has a lot to wall here. I mean, TaToH did as well. TaToH made it look easy. Also, Velez stopped with only 2 militia, I think, after realizing that TaToH was fully walled. It's very nice. Did we miss something? Oh, no, he's got 30 gold. Okay.
It feels weird, right? So he
it's very weird.
Canceled 1 militia there after scouting the walls as well. Maybe just switch strategy, which is most of the time a good indicator. If you can go for a strategy, have a plan, then scout something and adjust your build-up.
Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen Velez adjust on the fly. Is TaToH going to adjust on the fly? He hasn't even found where Velez is yet.
What?
No, he doesn't even know. We're talking about TaToH of all people.
Yeah.
940. He does not know where Velez is or what Velez is doing.
Okay, he sees a militia at the front. If he scouted, sees the barracks instantly, sees long walls. And is that going to be a scout build-up?
I think it was planned to be scouts, but archers would be better here, Nilly.
He sees full walls. I think, honestly, you fast castle this.
If you're TaToH, you don't add a range and you just go crazy farms? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Like, at 8 farms first, and then maybe transition into archers. But that's going to be ugly for you.
Yeah, because scouts wouldn't do anything, and if you go for the range, it's gonna put your whole build out of whack. And I think you've called it here. Get as much food as possible, of course, with horse collar and bidaxe. Villagers are more efficient than Celts are at the moment. That's good adapting from TaToH, but would you agree that maybe TaToH should have never been this surprised?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure why the scout was so unfortunate there in the position. Not sure if he tried to protect his villagers or where it was. Tried to go for the trap there, but
so unnecessary.
Slipped through.
I feel like that's not a move that I'd expect to see from a player who's down 2 games, because why do that? Like, he's never going to break in anyways. That's wasted villager time, and that would have been a waste of wood as well. So I think Velez would like that. It's a small thing, but surprised TaToH win for that one, as Velez is halfway to the feudal age.
And what's the play now for TaToH? Like, going 1 archer range isn't great against a forward siege workshop. We're kind of expecting a forward siege workshop, right? From a Cal player here. So you have to go for stable units. Your gold is really exposed, as we mentioned earlier. This is a rough one to play for TaToH.
TaToH also not even able to find that scout from Velez, because he could have been attacking that. Velez is doing the right thing and keeping the scout in the back. Now he's going to bring it forward. I would have said back at minute 2 that it's unlikely we'd see the typical Huang push with forward vills, but there's absolutely no reason Velez cannot send villagers forward, since TaToH doesn't have military. And it's all down to if Velez is going to be aware of that as he goes for blacksmith stable.
By the way, a week ago, John Slow did a Twitter message like that all the top players are advocating, like, oh, Arabia has to be so much more open, Arena is a horrible map, and then they're playing like this.
Well, that's funny and all, but if you don't wall a little bit at least, well, this is a lot of it, but if you don't wall, you can just lose to the wallers. I think John Slow's correct on that.
Oh, Scout actually takes another hit there from the Spearman. Now needs to go home. TaToH with another sloppy move. 79 fast caster timing here. Velez, is he trying to sneak a villager? Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think he... That's what I mentioned before. I think you should send the villagers forward in this instance.
When
TaToH makes a stable. But he's... Oh, here they come. Okay. By the way, if that's the case, then John Slow shouldn't be so terrified of Arabia. If that's the meta, then you're one of us, John Slow.
Okay, TaToH instantly scouts those 2 scouts.
Nice.
Couldn't click up to Castle Age for a solid 30 seconds because he didn't have the second building. Could have been a really nice time there. 18-17 for a normal planned Feudal Age play is still pretty okay, but still a 1-minute advantage there for Villese.
Yeah, the problem is he just can't... Like, I think TaToH's going to be desperate to get those vills. He's making a scout now. He is desperate to get them. Oh. See if he will be able to. Velez, if he sees the other scout, will wall in the vills. He knows that TaToH knows.
You are very experienced with casting Huang and have a lot of ideas how the games and the meta played out. What is your way? How do you defend this strategy?
So the big thing is redemption monks. Chinese do not have redemption. So this is actually the one strategy that Chinese are vulnerable against, despite all their strengths, is probably heavy siege push in Castle Age. Like, siege pike is very difficult for them. So the best way you defend this is normally stop the villagers from coming forward. TaToH's already failed with that. So now you've just got to have excellent scout micro against monks and excellent Naganel micro and hope for the best. But you're always playing at a disadvantage because the Celt siege fires faster and there's already spearmen out. So this strategy technically counters you. Another thing TaToH could maybe do, and this is a very TaToH thing, is to go guard tower. I see him building a tower in his gold, which is the only gold within his walls, and also going to the back stone. But guard tower...
also going onto stone now.
What's that?
He is going onto stone in the back. And in Russian University, so you predicted it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other option, and it's a very TaToH thing to do. I think what's the concern there is you're putting stone into defensive towers, and Celts have pretty solid eco anyways. So if Velez sees mass guard tower, he's going to say, oh, he's not booming? Okay, I'll just boom at home. So it doesn't necessarily save you. Not to mention you probably need like 4 or 5 towers. You need fletching, you need bodkin arrow. So you're deciding on... It's tough.
Oof,
and a villager goes down already.
Wow. And most of the time you're able to dodge that first shot, but not this time. And oh god, Velez is just so quick here.
Yeah. Making it look so easy today, Nilly. Guard tower and fletching for TaToH. He also has light cav.
Can you even repair this one? No villagers from Villese around, so Mongol could be vulnerable. First shot here, villagers getting walled in. Could take a hit as well, though. 25 HP on that Mongol, but villagers are coming over for the repair.
And guard tower comes in, though. Guard tower could save it. Oh, guard tower made a big difference there. But yeah, the Mangonel still stays alive. I think the number is 4. I think you need, well, at least if the guard towers have Bodkin, I think you need 4 Mangonels to think about truly pushing that tower. But Les in a good spot because TaToH can't take any gold.
Where do you want to see the next tower?
For TaToH on the wood line. He misclicked his, he set his gather point incorrectly there.
Oh, yeah. Where do you want to see the next tower? Okay, he's putting it at the stone. Makes a lot of sense.
It's tough to know. It's really tough to know. Because again, even if he engages now with the knights and camels, there's monks behind this. And Velez has already added a second TC at home to boom. This is just perfect play from Velez. There's no other way to say it.
Some other villagers, some macro not super on point, but it is obviously really tricky. Also for TaToH, it's so much easier to defend if you have a market up, something he doesn't. Oh, he does have, so maybe can get onto some more units for the gold defense here. Ooh, still pretty tough.
Oh, the pikemen hop outside of the ram. That's a nice little move. There's no option for TaToH to counterattack. He's forced to take a fight, and that's actually a good fight for him there.
Yeah, I like that one as well. Tower goes down to 600 HP. Ram might go down. Let's take a look. The Monk could get focused down. No, gets conversion.
Wow, that conversion. That's tough. But I think TaToH will take out the ram. We'll see if his villagers can garrison in this guard tower, though. Misclick?
Too low. I couldn't really get in. Knights are getting trapped as well. But look at the population. 50 to 38.
Yeah, you can tell that Velez is heavily focused on the front, though. Like, he had so many idols. Now he's adding the 3rd TC. Yeah, Velez recognized. TaToH's gone into guard tower. It's very expensive to do that. I'm just going to 3 TC boom. And while TaToH's going to have some room to breathe now, it's definitely put him behind.
Monastery for TaToH. Why is he going for a monastery? He's not facing like crazy amount of knights. He doesn't have the map control to get any relics.
He can't get redemption.
Yeah, it's not like he has low HP units.
TaToH loses 2 more villagers. I think there's going to be a lot of conversation about TaToH after King of the Desert. Like, I'd say 2020 is one of his best years. 2019 into 2020, everyone's saying top 5 player, top 5 player, top 5 player. Certainly amazing when it comes to the hybrid maps, but on these open maps on Arabia, he has struggled in King of the Desert, and Velez was just camping that gold with the knight. It'll be short-lived. Oh, TaToH. Impressive.
Hello.
Okay.
What were you saying? Who's top 5, Tristan?
Well, TaToH's like me. I'm about to come back here, but that's important for TaToH. And perhaps something he should have done a little bit earlier is sneak out to that gold.
Yeah, well, he didn't have the control, right? And if you don't have any army, then one pikeman alone could do a lot. Also, this TC, if you go for it earlier, it's just so much tougher to defend for you.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that Velez over the last couple minutes has been booming because he didn't have a TC to eat. Now he has a TC to eat. And he knows where to go. He'll send pikemen here, he'll send monks here, he'll send Mangonels.
Yeah.
And he's even going for a ram. So while he's booming at home, and I think he might have an overchop or 2, I'm not too sure. He's going to direct his focus towards here. And this is where I talked about the light cav, Nilly. The light cav can make such a difference. And they will.
Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely. Gets 2 monks, will get the Mangonels as well. Gets 3 monks.
Oh my
Sick
God.
move.
The value. The value. And can he get a conversion as well? Imagine if he converts a knight here. Nope.
I imagine.
That was still so good for TaToH.
And now he's going tower rush at the other side.
That's a TaToH thing to do. Guard towers on gold. I mean, it's going to switch things up a little bit. He is behind by almost 20 villagers, Nilly. So he's got to do something. And I don't think Velez is prepared to deal with that.
I don't think so either. It's now building a defensive siege workshop at home. TaToH still without one. Normally you see Mangonels out and try to play against the Celt opponent there. Pretty good against Mangonel push if you defend nicely, but TaToH couldn't really go for that. Tries to break through at the moment.
Wow. Okay, this is going to be fun to watch. Neely, would you say that going like Siege Monk Pike with Eco is one of the hardest things to do in Age of Empires?
Like, I completely struggle if I play Mangonels to do anything else on the map. Like,
Yeah.
I think I have to babysit them at all times. And then you're trying to produce out of a stable, a monastery, a barracks,
And
all your
TCs?
TCs.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like-
so tough.
So much macro going on.
And I think we've seen a little bit of that here for Velez. You know, a few units going down here or there. It's expected to be messy, but then again, TaToH still, his TC is going to be eaten at home. He's going to deal with that, and he has not been able to break Velez at home.
Yeah, and I actually had a talk with my doctor the other day, and believe it or not, eating TCs is not that nutritious.
Oh, wow. Probably tastes better than that sandwich you had last weekend.
No, it can't taste better.
All right. Well, that TC will melt. And, I mean, that just puts TaToH further behind in eco. He's raiding with a camel. That is... Can you even classify that as a raid? I think that's like a very poor scouting attempt.
Yeah, it's not even passing. It's just dying.
Just dying. Yeah, exactly. And that could be TaToH in this tournament. 64 pop. And... I don't see how he can do it, Nilly. The towers are his
Ram
only
go!
hope.
And there's
They're
nothing.
gonna get rammed down.
Oh, and
This
on
is
both
it.
ends. Mangonels, though, macro not that great at TaToH's end, but one TC down.
This
and
is it.
there's no answer.
Yeah, this is the end for TaToH. TaToH, he showed up today with some different things in mind. Velez was just near perfect with all the decisions he needed to make on defense in game 1, game 2, and game 3. It was all about offense. TaToH, this might be one of the biggest surprises in King of the Desert so far. He will not be making it to the quarterfinals because of Velez, who's been so good for years. You know, TaToH's going to keep fighting here, but Nilly, there's just no way. Look at the lumber camp TaToH just had to build. There's just...
Oh, God. No.
Is it even worth building a new lumber camp there? I guess it is when you can't take... Oh, he's going to take wood in the south now. My goodness.
Well, it's not pretty. And that's what I said, right? The map in 20 minutes will look horrible.
Yeah.
And, well, he delivered on that promise for sure. Rams just clearing up so nicely. Celt Rams so quick with that. And, yeah, TaToH against Terra got completely clapped 3-0. And there were some heavy TaToH fanboys, some conspiracy boys as well, that said TaToH through to get a better matchup. Well, we can now confirm that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I think we can confirm that Twitch chat thinks a little bit too hard about some things sometimes. And that's both a compliment and an insult to anyone who said that. Because it takes some real creativity to get there. But like TaToH's not gonna be happy with himself. He's been a household name. He's constantly getting to quarterfinals, semifinals, even finals of events. I think he's about to get castle dropped here as he's falling back to monastery defense, which 2 years ago would have been better with Chinese because they had redemption, but again, they don't get redemption now, which I think was a great decision from the devs because they're good in virtually every other area. And Velez, where will he place this castle? He's going to place it there.
In between.
And you see the face of the player that Velez will play in the quarters tomorrow on that castle. If Velez wins, that is. Unless he doesn't. I mean, he's 40 vills ahead.
Yeah, it should just be a formality now. Just playing it down, right? So many Rams coming from home as well. TaToH's trying to fight it down a bit, but look at that. It's full Knight Mangonel all in here. Can go for votes, adds more stables. He even wants to finish it in Castle Age.
Yeah, I think he should. You've got 44 farms. Look at all the Rams coming in. Yeah, TaToH, his TC's going to melt, and his hopes and dreams going further in this tournament melted like 5 minutes ago. There's no chance. I feel bad for TaToH, man. But, you know, there's so many tournaments nowadays, and there will continue to be tournaments, and players, you've got to earn your spot. You've got to show up and be consistent every single time. This is a surprise for many because TaToH has been so consistent, but Velez has been around and has been playing in tournament after tournament, and a huge result for him, 3-0. Wow.
Not what we expected here at all. Like, so many more people would have predicted 3-0 for TaToH than 3-0 for Velez. A lot of people, including Hera, for example, said, though, that Velez is clearly considered to be top 10 at the moment.
I think so too. Yeah, Velez. I think he. Wait a second. Who did Velez play in his group? It would have
He
been. Oh, this is
lost
the
to Hera.
decider.
This
This
is
is the decider. So he lost to Hera.
then beat Vivi and now beat TaToH.
Okay, and do you remember? Well, we won't go through all the group scores, but anyways, I feel like having seen the games that TaToH played against Hera, and then saw the games that Velez played against Hera, Velez performed so much better. Like there were games that Velez with just one bad fight lost, but could have easily beaten Hera. And TaToH never seemed like he was in it, and TaToH never seemed like he was in it here today either. Do you think it was strategic? Do you think it was overall? Like what went wrong for TaToH?
This one, probably scouting. Game number 1, the Cuman game, he had an unfortunate map and didn't properly adjust, in my opinion. Sure. And game number 2, we had the Mongols game against Aztecs. I think a tough Civ matchup.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
a lot of unfortunate
you know what?
things, and Velez playing incredibly strong.
I love TaToH for his creativity. There are other players I say the same for. But if you lose a set when you drafted Chinese, Khmer, Malians, Berbers, Mongols, Cumans, and you have not played Khmer, that's just unreal. Like Khmer are a 6th civilization. Why did you not have Khmer earlier, TaToH? Perhaps he underestimated Velez a little bit, didn't expect Velez to be at this level, and thought that he'd have Khmer for potential game 4, game 5. There's Malians we see a lot of in the first couple games.